The country's warlords built massive castles with gorgeous, ornate keeps one after another. The stage art of kabuki was invented by a cross-dressed female entertainer, and the Sengoku or warring state period finally came to a close with a decisive battle. These are some of the events that took place in the Azuchi-Momoyama period, the age of the three unifiers of Japan. Konnichiwa. Hello and welcome to another edition of Talk About Japan. I'm Mitsuaki, your guide to Japan. Japan's long and rich history is divided into different periods and eras. Today, we'll focus on Azuchi-Momoyama period. Azuchi-Momoyama was a time full of dynamism when the war-torn country was finally unified thanks to the efforts of the three powerful warlords. The period also saw the flourishing of gorgeous and opulent culture that captured the spirit of the era. In this video, we'll be looking at some of the key events and cultural achievement of this fascinating period. では、始めましょう! Azuchi-Momoyama period refers to the 3 decades from 1573 to 1603, following the collapse of the Ashikaga shogunate. It was the final phase of the Sengoku or Japan's warring states period. The period name derives from Azuchi Castle and Momoyama Castle, the residences of two powerful warlords, Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi, respectively. These two warlords, plus Tokugawa Ieyasu, are known as the three unifiers of Sengoku Japan, who dominated the Azuchi-Momoyama period. Oda Nobunaga was born into a family of a deputy governor of Owari province, modern-day Western Aichi prefecture. Nobunaga rose to prominence after defeating the powerful feudal lord Imagawa Yoshimoto in the Battle of Okehazama in 1560. From then on, he defeated rival warlords one after another, aiming to unify the country. Nobunaga's free thinking, unrestrained by traditions, led to major changes in military tactics, politics, and economy. Nobunaga realized the power of firearms before anyone else. He mass-produced matchlock guns, which had just been introduced from Europe, and with a large unit of matchlock musketeers, defeated the famous cavalry of Takeda that was feared to be invincible in the Battle of Nagashino in 1575. The Battle of Nagashino was the first warfare on Japanese soil in which firearms played a key role. Nobunaga thoroughly suppressed the Buddhist forces that rebelled against him. He even burnt down Enryakuji Temple, the highest authority on Buddhism in Japan. On the other hand, Nobunaga protected Christianity and enthusiastically adopted European culture, although he himself didn't convert to Christianity. And he created free economic zone known as Rakuichi Rakuza that allowed anyone to freely engage in commercial activities by eliminating various regulations. Nobunaga was about to unify the country, but was assassinated by his vassal Akechi Mitsuhide in an unexpected rebellion known as Honnoji Incident in 1582. Toyotomi Hideyoshi was also born in the Owari province. His origins are not certain, but he may have come from a family of peasant or Ashigaru foot soldier. His early life was marked by poverty and hardship, but took an upward turn when he started working for Oda Nobunaga. He served as Nobunaga's close aide and rose through the ranks. Upon receiving news of the Honnoji incident, he hurried back from his expedition in Chugoku region and defeated Akechi Mitsuhide in the Battle of Yamazaki only 11 days after Nobunaga's death. His swift action allowed him to to take the position of Nobunaga's successor. He then defeated rival warlords and opposing Buddhist forces, conquered Shikoku, Kyushu, Kanto, and finally Tohoku, completing the unification of Japan in 1590. Hideyoshi, who came from a humble origin, became the ruler of Japan. He built magnificent Osaka Castle as his residence. Like Nobunaga, Hideyoshi too had his own policies. He conducted comprehensive land survey known as Taiko Kenchi to clarify the hitherto complicated land ownership, and carried out sword hunt in which he confiscated weapons from peasantry to avoid armed uprisings. Unlike Nobunaga, who protected Christianity, Hideyoshi suppressed Christianity and expelled missionaries. He went so far as to execute the Catholics in the country by crucifixion. Hideyoshi suffered a major setback in his final years. He made unsuccessful attempts to invade Korea in what is known as Bunroku Keicho expeditions in Japan and Imjin War in Korea. The Japanese forces met fierce resistance by the Korean and Ming forces. With Hideyoshi's death in 1598, the Japanese forces withdrew. On his deathbed, Hideyoshi's greatest concern was the future of his heir, extremely young Hideyori, whom he bore at the age of 57. He breathed his last after having the Council of Five Elders pledge to provide guardianship for Hideyori. But the council included Tokugawa Ieyasu, who would later turn on Hideyori. Looking at culture, the warlords focused their efforts on building luxurious castles. One after another, they built castles with gorgeous, ornate keeps that demonstrated their wealth and power. New painting style known as damie flourished. Damie is bold, vigorous paintings with lavish use of gold and silver. Damie paintings decorated the walls and sliding doors of the castles. The tea ceremony was perfected and raised to the level of art, and spread among the warlords and wealthy merchants. In line with the popularity of tea ceremony, other arts also made great progress, such as pottery techniques for tea bowls, flower arrangement for decorating the tea houses, and gardening that embodied austere elegance. Azuchi-Momoyama period produced Sen no Rikyu, the most famous tea master the country ever produced. He is renowned for perfecting the tea ceremony, which emphasizes wabi-sabi, the Japanese aesthetic of austere elegance. And Azuchi-Momoyama period saw the birth of the stage art of kabuki. A female entertainer by the name of Okuni started kabuki dance. Okuni, a shrine maiden from Izumo province, dressed as a young samurai, played male characters and gave a performance that enthralled the audience. Back to political history, Tokugawa Ieyasu was born into a family of a local samurai in Mikawa, modern-day eastern Aichi prefecture. Ieyasu spent his childhood as a hostage with the Imagawa clan, but gained independence after Oda Nobunaga defeated Imagawa Yoshimoto in the Battle of Okihazama in 1560. Ieyasu allied with Nobunaga and later served Hideyoshi as his vassal to become one of the five elders. After Hideyoshi's death, Ieyasu was seizing the power. This led to confrontation with Ishida Mitsunari, a leading warlord loyal to Hideyori, and eventually to the decisive Battle of Sekigahara in 1600. The country's warlord split into two, the Eastern Army headed by Ieyasu and the Western Army led by Mitsunari. In the early stages of the battle, the Western Army had the upper hand. But the betrayal of Kobayakawa Hideaki in Western camp changed the course of the battle. His troops began firing on Western troops. This upset the Western Army, and the Eastern Army gained the edge. The battle lasted only 6 hours and was won by the Eastern Army. Mitsunari was captured and executed. With the victory at Sekigahara, Ieyasu established his hegemony in 1603, founded a new shogunate in Edo or modern-day Tokyo. This marked the end of Azuchi-Momoyama period. Japan now enters the Edo period. These are some of the events that took place in the Azuchi-Momoyama period. The age of the three unifiers of Japan. Thank you for watching. ありがとうございました。さようなら。